You're listening to FAB FM, broadcasting directly to your ears and all four corners of Wraith. Next up, we have Yorick's hit new single, Strum Me.
Welcome to the city of the future, for the future is today, here in Metrix. Crank your Techlo-infused pylons to 11 and experience the true power of Teklo-Vasen's Evo Mechano.
What a fool. True power comes not from some vague promise of the future. No. True power comes from wealth, and those smart enough to know how to use it properly. No matter who you are, even the mightiest in Metrix can fall to the smallest spider.
How's it going, Rogues Gallery? And thank you for joining me for the Bright Lights preview season. As you can clearly see here, we have a lovely Mechanologist card to share with you. No, we don't. This is a legendary assassin equipment called Shriek Razors, and I have a lot to say about this card. Before we do, I just want to give a huge shout out to my lovely partner Robin for doing the voiceover for the female part of the video, so huge shout out to her. She's always a great sport for these kind of things. I'm just kind of roping her into all of my content slowly and gradually. And yeah, let's just cut to it. Let's talk about Shriek Razor. So this is one of the cards that you can find in the expansion slot in your Bright Lights booster packs. And I did ask LSS specifically, I was like, hey, this is a legendary card. It's in the expansion slot. We don't really know much about the expansion slot. So my question was, hey, what type of treatments can we expect to find this card in since it's in the expansion slot, right? We don't know like if we're going to get cold foils or regular foils or whatever in the expansion slot. And I was told that this is going to be coming in the regular rainbow foil as well as the cold foil treatment, right? It's going to be rainbow foil and cold foil in the expansion slot. So just keep that in mind as we go forward. I don't actually have a copy to show you right now. I will have one later in the month, and we'll do a whole separate video on that, showing it off and kind of doing like a fun little unboxing thing. But that is not today. Today, let's talk about Shriek Razors. I think this card is actually super, super interesting. I think it's really, really cool. It completes a cycle, and oh, I love, you know, that parody, you know, that you know, completion, just that sense of finishing something. And this completes the silver cycle is what I'm going to call it, or the recursion cycle for your equipment pieces. So we have Shriek Razors. It's an assassin equipment arms that has 1 block, battle worn, and the same silver recursion mechanic that we saw on Redback Shroud, Black Tech Whisperers, and Mask of Perdition. While it's in your graveyard at the start of your turn, you may destroy 2 silvers you control. If you do, equip this. That's pretty cool, right? I really, really, really love this mechanic. I love this recursion mechanic. It reminds me of some of my favorite mechanics throughout card gaming history. I love that you can now just rock up with a full suite of these silver recursion mechanics. So if like this becomes a big thing in the future, you know, maybe you start your turn with 8 silver, crack them all, get all of your equipment back, all, you know, 4 block plus all of your shenanigans. And yes, they are all shenanigans. This one's ability is interesting. So it's an attack reaction. They are all attack reactions. This one costs 2 resources to activate. We'll talk about that in just a second. Destroy this. Target attack action card defending an assassin attack gets -1 defense. So this card only negatively affects attack action cards and only works for your assassin attacks. Keep in mind that says assassin attacks and not assassin attack actions. So this does work on your assassin weapons. But also, it doesn't work on defense reaction, doesn't work on non-attacks. It only works on attack action cards. We'll talk about why I really, really like that as a design, but I do want to talk about the fact that it costs 2 to activate, which is kind of a lot, right? It's kind of a lot for an attack reaction like this, but I think it's pretty good value. I'm not sure if you're going to be playing this over Flick Knives, which just gives you raw damage, but I do really like the options here. I like that you can block with this first and then use it offensively. You can recur it, obviously. I think it can be paired really well in a deck with a lot of blues and then 1-cost attack reactions. You know, you have your spikes, but you also have stuff like your Razor Reflex, right? So you can do Pitch of Blue, Razor Reflex, and also Shriek Razors on top of it to give a virtual 4 points of attack advantage, which I think is really, really cool, right? 4 points is kind of a lot. And yeah, I think there could be a deck if you're running a lot of blues that this can really, really, make an appearance in. There's a little bit of design that I really, really like about this card, and that is that one, it blocks defensively, right? It has 1 block as Battle Worn, but it only affects attack action cards, so it's specifically good against physical heroes. And just as a flavor and design, I really think that's cool, and I think that's really interesting. Obviously, this is something that you don't want against your wizards and that kind of stuff, and then you would sideboard these out for other options. Maybe that's where you bring in your, Arcane Barrier, or if you don't really want the Arcane Barrier for whatever reason, you can bring your Flick Knives or whatever. But I just love the design space of this card. I love this whole cycle, this like silver recursion cycle, the silver cycle. I think it is really, really cool, and yeah. I'm just happy that I got some cool assassin-y stuff in Bright Lights. Can't wait to see what else the set has in store. So yeah, thank you all for joining me today. Let me know what you think of Shriek Razors in the comments down below. What kind of decks do you think this card is going to get into? Arachne? Maybe. Maybe. But I do think this card is, like I said, really, really cool, and I await the day where all of the assassins are just sitting on piles of silver, and they can just crack 8 at the start of their turn, and then bring all of their equipment back. Oh, that's so cool. Though in hindsight, maybe that's asking for a little bit too much, or maybe a lot of it too much. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to LSS for letting me be a part of the Bright Lights preview season. I hope you all liked the video. Hope you like the vibes, and we'll see you next time.